Good morning. I'd like to call the Public Works and Contracting Committee of Cuyahoga County Council to order. Today is November 16th. Can we have a roll call, please?
Calling the roll, Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Miller. Here. Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent. Mr. Greenspan. Mr. Greenspan is absent. Ms. Simon. Here. There is a quorum.
Okay, is there any public comment related to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Okay, we have the minutes from the November 2nd meeting. Is there any questions on the minutes? If not, I'll move they be approved. Moved and seconded. Any final questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Minutes stand approved. So we have important work to do today, and we will get through this. Some of this is routine, but some of it we may have a number of questions, but we'll just plow through, and we'll start with 204. Welcome.
Welcome. Mr. Chairman, if we could, nobody from Metro is here today, or they may be on a tour, so if you could hold on.
Okay, that's fine. That's a great idea. Let's go to 207. Or 206. Let's see, wait a minute. It's 207. 207, yes.
Resolution number 2016-0207, approving an adjustment of the municipal boundary between Orange Village and City of Pepper Pike in connection with the portion of Lander Road.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Michael Dever with Public Works, along with Neil Yunke, our Chief Surveyor for the county. The Department of Public Works is requesting approval on an adjustment to the boundaries in the municipalities of Orange Village and the City of Pepper Pike. Orange Village will accept a portion of Lander Road that is within the City of Pepper Pike, and the adjustment will reduce confusion regarding responsibilities of maintaining a portion of Lander Road and providing police and emergency services to the public. This is currently, this parcel is part of the Landerwood Glen condominium unit, and both cities approached the county and have approved the legislation for this parcel to revert to into Orange Village. Per the ORC, the county needs to approve it also. So it resides in Council District 9 also. So we're asking for approval to make this adjustment to the boundary in the City of Pepper Pike to bring it into Orange Village.
I have a question.
Okay. Ms. Simon, go ahead.
So is this east of Landerwood Circle? Do you know where the shopping is there in Heinens? Would it be east of that? I can't.
I don't have the.
I believe it is east of that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe it is east of that.
You know where that circle is, right?
Yeah, I do, but I'm.
Okay, that's all right.
It's a full parcel of land. It's owned by the condominium association.
Okay.
The corporation boundary goes through their property. It just makes sense to make that adjustment so all their property is in the Village of Orange.
Well, I mean, if everybody agrees to it and wants it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I noticed that these councils approved this in 2012, both of them. This is 2016. Where has this been?
It has not been in our office. We've only got this a couple months ago.
Okay.
It was brought to our attention.
Okay, and is there any hurry in moving this along?
I don't think there's any rush on it, no. They have not indicated that.
Yep, Mr. Miller.
What is the size of the parcel that's being transferred from Pepper Pike to Orange Village?
4.218 acres.
Okay.
So it's relatively large. It's a long, narrow strip of land.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does this, are you done, Mr. Miller? Does this obligate the county in any way as far as maintenance? Does this change anything that?
No, currently the city maintains Lander Road. It's only when a capital improvement the city may be, or the county may participate in that capital improvement along the Lander Road.
Okay. Any other questions on this? I'll move for second reading.
Second.
It's It's moved and seconded. Any final questions? All those in favor of moving to second reading, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. It goes to second reading. 208.
Resolution number 2016-0208, approving the vacation of a certain portion of Warrensville Center Road to the city of Shaker Heights in connection with the Van Aiken project.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Once again, Michael Dever. As you know, we have reconfigured this intersection, and the city is requesting the vacation of part of the road there now, and so we're here to honor their request. They are looking to redevelop. Actually, they've already started much of the redevelopment work, and we'd like to try and move this item along as quickly as possible. There will be a secondary piece coming forward at a later council meeting, probably our next general council meeting. But if there's any questions, I'd like to, can I answer them?
I have a question.
Okay, I see there's a blank here in the, let's see. Yeah, in the third paragraph, held a public hearing and viewed the proposed vacation on or about November blank. So is this the hearing that we're talking about today?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Yes, that's correct. The blank is for today's
And then the
committee meeting.
29th is the council meeting.
Yes.
Okay, I'll move that we amend by including 16 in the blank on the third paragraph. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, so we're pretty familiar with this project. And how big a piece of property is this?
Well, there's two pieces of legislation, obviously, Mr. Chairman, and the first portion, I believe, is 0.26 acres, Warrensville Center. Yeah. Go ahead.
And the other one is just a strip along Warrensville Center Road. It's on the, would be on the west side that goes up against Van Aiken. And that strip width is it varies from 17 feet to 12 feet. So it's just a strip along the westerly right-of-way of Warrensville Center Road.
And Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Miller?
how long is the strip?
The 17-foot strip is 262 feet long, and the other one is 553 feet. It'd be along that entire shopping center project.
And,
It'll end at Farnsley, from Chagrin to Farnsley.
and what is the city of Warrensville Heights planning to do with, or Shaker Heights, what are they planning to do with the property?
So we have a representative from Shaker Heights here, Joyce Braverman is here.
Okay, now are we talking, we're talking about 208, or are we talking about 209 now?
So 208, excuse me, this is Joyce Braverman, the planning director for the city of Shaker Heights. 208 refers to a piece of Warrensville Center Road that is adjacent to university hospitals in the district. So that particular piece is being vacated because University Hospitals is building a new parking lot to support their 1,000 employees at that location. And so that is being vacated for them to be able to build a parking lot. It's actually a piece of what we call Old Warrensville Center Road. It's been a brick road. New Warrensville Center Road is the road that you drive on if you're driving on Warrensville. Old Warrensville is, I'm not sure how wide, maybe 18 feet.
50 feet wide.
50 feet wide, but the brick road is only about 18 feet wide. And so that's being vacated to sell or give to university hospitals in an arrangement for them to build a parking lot. The next ordinance, 209, has to do with RMS, the developer, for the redevelopment, the $100 million mixed-use redevelopment. And that is a strip that they actually had been using by license agreement since the building was built in 1952 as a loading dock. And so what they would like to do now is move their buildings closer to the road with the new development instead of being set back so far. So the city will still retain right-of-way, as will the county, for sidewalks and tree lawn, but this will allow them to build their building closer to the road.
Janine, can you read 209 into the record, and we'll vote on them separately?
Okay. Resolution number 2016-0209, approving the vacation of a certain portion of Warrensville Center Road to Van Aken Shopping Center in connection with the Van Aken project.
Okay, so back on 208, this is just to take into consideration the Warrensville Center Road piece of property, and we previously had talked about the development, so this is just an addition to it. Is there any questions on this plat in Exhibit A from the background information? Is there any questions on 208?
I just have a question on both, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. So this Warrensville, this is county, correct? I mean, who owns this road now? I mean, is this a county?
It's a county road.
So with both of these, do we maintain the brick road? Is that old Warrensville, not a county?
The county does not maintain it. The city has maintained it.
The brick road?
Correct.
But the regular stretch of Warrensville we're looking at, the county does.
Well, we don't actually maintain, the cities maintain it if there's ever
Well, I
a
mean,
capital
we're-
improvement to it.
The
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 improvement.
improvement.
You know what, we don't need
So we will just abdicate that altogether now, all our responsibility with regard to the section of Warrensville?
Yeah,
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, so that's gonna be weird. I mean, if we're maintaining, whatever improvements need to be made, we'll just stop at this section?
So this section of road is actually parallel to Warrensville Center Road. So there's a parcel that the city owns between the two. So
On
that's a
08 or
maintenance-
09? 9?
It's on 08.
The brick road,
On the
yeah.
brick road, yes.
We're not,
On the
yeah.
other piece,
Yeah.
it's just taking area that was right of way, but never a road. It was never road.
I can't picture that, okay.
Yeah, so if
It's
you can
by
think of
Farnsley
going
and,
down Warrensville Center Road past Farnsley and looking to your right, and you saw that awful fence in the back of the shopping center.
Yep.
That was the right of way we're talking about.
I
the fence
see.
And the loading area. That was always right.
Not
of
the
way.
road
But
itself,
not the road
per
itself,
se.
No.
Gotcha, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Miller?
is one of the parcels still actually a roadway? Or are
the-
both of them not currently a roadway?
In 208, that is a roadway. It's an access road to get to a parking lot. It's not an actual road that carries traffic. It's more of a circulation next to a parking lot, the brick road.
So, so after we vacate it, then it would no longer be a public street and it would be privately owned, is that correct?
That's correct.
And why is there not any consideration involved in this?
It's ultimately, it's the city's street to maintain. We participate in if there's a capital improvement to it. I don't have an answer for you on that.
Now, do we own it or does the city own it?
The city, we can utilize our road and bridge dollars to improve it.
But the city owns it.
That's correct.
Okay. So it's up to them.
Can I follow up with a question? I mean, I guess, is it considered a county road or a city road?
It's a county road.
It's a county road,
Yes.
but it's owned by the city.
Well, the city maintains it.
Like all the other county roads?
Like all the other county roads, and if there was a big improvement project, the county would assist them in that improvement.
Yeah, our responsibility with regard to county roads is improvement, asphalting, maybe, and all that kind of thing. We maintain it, I thought, but you're saying the city maintains it.
Well, we don't plow it.
We don't, so that's the
Right.
definition is plowing, but whenever there's resurfacing or potholes, that's the county.
No.
No, that's
Not
the
even.
city.
No, all of that maintenance responsibilities falls with the city. The only time we participate, Cuyahoga County is different from every other county in the state. So the municipalities, their responsibility is clearly to maintain the road itself. The only time we participate, like I said, was if there's capital improvements it's gonna make to the road. We do not send our forces out there to maintain the road or do anything with it.
Yeah, we're different because of the municipal corporations that Cuyahoga consists mostly of those, but in other counties where you don't have that concentration of municipal corporations, the county actually has to do all the maintenance.
That's right. Like in Olmsted
Olmsted,
Township,
yeah.
there's 22 miles of road out there that's the responsibility. But we entered into an agreement with the township for them to maintain it, where we reimburse them for that maintenance.
Yeah, it's strange that we actually own it somehow, right?
Right.
Like, is there a title? What is that, just the plat? How do you define ownership? Sorry.
It's public right away, so the public actually owns it.
The
That's
public.
the way I look at it.
Well, we
yes.
just, okay.
So it's not, there's no parcel number
It's just a
on
public
it.
right
Yes,
away.
It's public right.
And the county somehow is the steward of the right of way per maybe, Ohio RC. Okay.
It is a bit confusing.
Yeah, it's actually not Warrensville Center Road. It's abutting right to the east, that brick road, according to this diagram here.
Correct. There actually is a parcel between New Warrensville Center Road that we drive on and this piece of brick road. There is a parcel that's a grassy parcel that the city owns. It's between the two. So it does not look like a road. It looks like an access.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at the exhibit, the vacation plat. Okay, so I think, any further discussion on 208? So we need to move this to council so that it can be passed on November 29th.
Please.
So with that in mind, I will move for second reading suspension. Is there a second? Second. Any final questions? All those in favor of second reading suspension to the full council, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. 208 goes forward. We have 209. I'd like to make a motion that in the blank, in the third paragraph, we insert number 16, the date, the 16th. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this is to correct this for today's date. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. So now, is there, I'm just trying to see how big is this plat that we're,
What do you have on that?
Which one?
For the second?
The second
item,
one, 553.
Size of the plot. Plat.
The size of the plat?
What are we vacating?
Oh, no, it's on the 209, it's a strip of land, 553 long, 553 feet long by about 12 to 17. It varies between 12 feet and 17 feet wide.
It's from Chagrin Road to Farmgate. It's a strip on the westerly side of Warrensville.
And the earlier piece was this one.
Yes.
I think there was some confusion on what was represented from earlier. So this is actually the longer strip that was mentioned in the previous legislation, in the discussion with the previous legislation. The parcel that should have been referenced in the discussion phase is, what's the size of that, Neil?
150 by 227.
So Van Aken Boulevard is being reconstructed in this?
That's correct.
So they need this to finish off that reconstruction of Van Aken Boulevard,
Well,
correct?
it's for the development purposes is what this parcel is for. We've already gone through the reconstruction of the roadway itself. And
Okay.
that project is substantially completed now.
That's correct.
Hallelujah.
So this is just allowing them to build closer to Van Aken, is that correct?
Closer to Warrensville.
To Warrensville.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't see Warrensville on the, oh, yes, I see it now. Okay, I see it on the vacation plat. Okay, any other questions on 209?
Just a question on the development. When's it going to be finished?
June 2018, so we just broke ground Saturday, and demolition is occurring now of the current shopping center, and the opening date is June 2018.
Thank you.
Okay, well, in order to comply with the dates we have, or I'll move for second reading suspension. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. For second reading suspension, any final questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed nay. It's passed, second reading suspension.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, we go to 210.
Resolution number 2016-0210, authorizing a memorandum of agreement with Federal Aviation Administration in connection with the air traffic control tower land site located at the Cuyahoga County Airport.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Michael Dever again with Public Works. The FAA has been leasing this property for a number of years. It's where the air traffic control tower is currently located. So this is an extension of the current lease that we've had in place since 1971 when it started. And there's been variations of it for the last 40 years. And so this is a continuation of that lease.
This is 20 years.
Yes.
Okay, and this is saying that the period is October 1st, 2016.
That's right. We are a little bit behind schedule here, just for process-wise. So we're hoping that I can get second reading suspension on this item also.
Ms. Simon, this is your area. Do you have any,
Just a curiosity about why 20 years and not something, how did that term come to be when the previous was longer? Were there options, or is this what FAA mandates now?
Obviously, we utilize federal funds on the airport for the runway expansion, whatnot, and those agreements are in place for a 20-year period. I believe it ties into those agreements also.
Okay.
Okay.
And so there's no money that exchanged with these leases, or do they pay us? I don't see, how does
No.
it? No.
No, they don't. There's $0 in this. They maintain that facility. We don't do any work on it whatsoever.
And it's all federal employees?
Well, it's a contractor for the federal government that operates the facility.
Air traffic controllers as well?
That's right.
They're all Indy?
Yeah,
Okay,
independent. It's an
Yeah.
independent group.
okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we need them.
want to move?
Move for second reading suspension at the next full council meeting. So
Thank you.
moved.
I'll second. Any final questions on this? Okay, all those in favor of second reading suspension on 0210, say aye. Aye, opposed nay. 210 goes to the full council under second reading suspension. So that brings us to 211.
Resolution number 2016-0211, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires replacement of Memphis Road Bridge 00.62 over CSXT Railroad in the city of Brooklyn.
So this is our first step in our process, asking for welfare and convenience for Memphis Road Bridge. This is intended to be an 80% federal funded, 20% county funded project and constructed in 2020. And this is just getting us started on the project. The bridge was built in 1928 and it was rehabbed in 1980. And it has a general appraisal rating of 4 and sufficiency rating of 34. And it's anticipated to cost $3 million for construction. And it would be a total reconstruction.
This is going over a railroad,
Correct.
and the railroad is in use.
Yeah, CSX.
And is there any urgency in passing this?
No, this one can go 3 readings since we're just getting started.
Okay, and this is just the first step?
Correct. We'll come back to you with our first step, our next step would be a design consultant. Once we agree to a contract with them, that's when you'll see it again.
Mr. Chair.
And I see that, I'm just looking at the corrections to this to see if we have that.
Yeah, there was a total cost was incorrect and we fixed that, I believe, on this agenda.
Well, I see that $3,025,000,
Right.
and then, but I don't see the, 605,000.
I think in our initial briefing, we had added the design cost in with that, with the 605 local money, so that's why that number was wrong. And then we had corrected it. I know it's right on the resolution. I'm not sure what you have.
Yeah,
The
I'm
backup
looking,
might
I'm
be-
looking at the backup information.
Yeah, I think that's where there was an error.
Okay, so, okay, I'll move that, well, any questions on this?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
The ratings of 4 and 34, those are on a scale of what to what, with what being high and what being low.
The 4 is to 10 and 1 is the worst. And then the sufficiency rating goes to 100 and that's the best. So 1 is the worst again, and that's 34 on this bridge.
So it's already not doing all that great, and by 2020, it's certainly
Right.
going to be even lower.
Correct. And it's a county engineer LBR funded is where the federal funds are coming from on this one.
I'm sorry, what's an LBR fund?
Local bridge,
Oh, yeah,
program,
LBR,
yeah.
okay, sorry,
sorry.
your acronym, shop acronym.
Are we assured of getting federal funding on this?
Yes, that one we've already been awarded.
Great, we'll take it.
Okay. So I'll move that this go to second reading, the full council. Second. Any final questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. 211 goes to full council for second reading. 212.
Resolution number 2016-0212, making an award on requisition number 36295 in the amount not to exceed $740,169 for design engineering services for improvement of Pleasant Valley Road Bridge number 09.68 over the Cuyahoga River.
So this project, we're asking for approval of the design consultant contract. 12 proposals were submitted, and we selected Burgess and Nyepel. They had the highest score. We have 30% SPE goal that they're meeting. And the county is funding the design, but the construction has $5 million of federal funds, and we're matching it 50% with our funds. Hopefully issue 1 might supplement that. The construction, won't be ready for construction until 2022. So we're a little ways off, but we're starting the design now with this contract.
Okay. Any questions?
Sure. How much is the expected total construction cost?
$10 million. And actually what we're gonna do here is, this is the first bridge. There's 3 bridges in a row that we'll come back to you on the other 2. We just got award from CAO for the second bridge funding, and we're gonna put them all together in one project in 2022. But for now, we're starting with this first one because that's what we had already had the funding in line for. So you'll see a couple more Pleasant Valley bridges in the future coming to you.
And just for this one, how much of it is federally funded and how much is locally funded?
We have 5 million, which is the max from the county engineer, the local bridge fund. And so right now we have 5 million of county funds in it. However, we would look to ask for issue 1 for a portion of it, but you don't apply for that until the year before construction.
And the federal government will pay for the other 5 million, is that correct? And how much is the total design cost?
I believe this is a part 1, part 2, and we're thinking, it's likely just over $1 million total, because part 1 gets us all the way through the environmental and choosing the structure type. And then we'll come back to you with an amendment for part 2, once we know what, we'd have to negotiate that part 2 though, but it's likely 1.2 million total.
And do we pay for all of the design costs?
We do. For this one.
And do we need second reading suspension, or can this go for 3 readings?
We can go 3, that's fine.
Is this budgeted for 2017?
This is budgeted for 16, actually. For the design cost. It's in our CIP.
Okay, so the third whereas is saying that this is gonna start April 1st of 2017. So it'll go from the 2016 and roll over to 2017. How's that work, Mr. Miller? If they budgeted in 2016, but they're not gonna do this until 2017,
Yeah, they can just roll it over.
just roller, okay.
I believe those dates are just stated, they're anticipated because it's a design contract. We don't actually have the dates in the contract, so it was more just informative as when we believe the consultant will start working. But we have budget in 2016 to start the project.
So this can go 3 readings, correct?
Sure.
Okay, I'll move that this go to second reading to the full council.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any final questions? All those in favor of second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 212 goes to second reading. 213.
Resolution number 2016-0213, authorizing an agreement with Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District in the amount not to exceed $800,000 for disposal of wastewater sewer grid for the period 6/1/2016 through 5/31/2018.
Mike Chambers of Public Works asking for approval of this item. Basically, we've been contracting with Regional Sewer District for many years. They're the only ones in the area that will actually handle our sewer grit. And basically, that's the leftover debris that comes out of the catch basins, that comes out of our main line cleanings. It's considered contaminated, and therefore we can't take it to a normal dump. The closest other location would be in southeastern Ohio, and obviously that wouldn't merit us driving all the way down there. Regional has been our team player with this for many years. We're getting it basically at their cost, plus an administrative fee. We know it's a little bit late. I know we were working with legal between their attorney and our attorney to try and get the agreement. In addition, once we did get that, we were kind of waiting on Regional's final price. And then finally, I know we had a little bit of a holdup trying to verify that Director Chach is authorized to sign. And we worked all of that out, and therefore we're asking for approval. Would appreciate it, since it is a little bit behind, if we could expedite it a little bit.
Well, we definitely got to get rid of the grit, that's for sure. So, any questions on it? Ms. Simon, since this is environmental, anything?
No, I mean, it's fine. They're the ones that have been doing it.
Okay.
Thank
So I'll
you.
move for second reading suspension. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any final questions? All those in favor of second reading suspension for 213, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. 213, second reading suspension. 214.
Resolution number 2016-0214, authorizing the Director of Public Works to execute and submit a loan application in the amount of $1,500,000 to Ohio Water Development Authority to finance sewer repairs in connection with the Bagley Road Water Sewer Resurfacing Project.
Mike Chambers, once again, we're asking for approval of this loan application and authorization to accept and sign the documentation. $1.5 million is from the Ohio Water Development Authority. The overall project is $7.3 million, of which $2.4 million is county. Obviously, the $1.5 million is from this loan, and then we were also able to get issue one in the amount of $3.4 million. And this project's set to go for next year. Once we get the actual approval and loan documentation and everything in, they'll come back with the final interest rate, which usually is right around 3%, if not a little bit lower.
Okay, and this, again, in the third whereas, it's scheduled to begin April 1st, 2017.
Right, that's the project timeline, so we're obviously getting the loan documentation and everything. Once we get our authority from council, we can go ahead then and ship that down to OWDA and start wrapping up the final documentation. So we do have time. This is just the format we do to go through that loan process. It's pretty quick after we get our county approvals.
Okay, well, if we have second reading on the 29th, then the next meeting in December, we could pass it.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Any further questions on 214?
Yes, I have a couple questions.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Who repays the loan?
Great, I forgot to mention that. This is going to be repaid by the sanitary sewer district funds. This is the monies we obviously collect for our maintenance of the system. We also have, as council's aware, there's tap-in fees, so that when the sewer is and the water, I believe there's a water on this one as well, is completed, there is tap-in charges. So we collect both the tap-in fee and our maintenance fee, and we use the revenues from both of those avenues to repay the loan.
And what is the reason for borrowing money to do this?
Right now, obviously, the township does not have 1.5 million in cash. They probably have a little bit under that. This is a low-interest way of, making sure that we can handle any ups and downs in the township. We don't want to deplete all of their revenues, and obviously, there's not too many avenues for sewer projects. Really, it's the OWA, and if we're lucky enough to get some issue one. So really, this is kind of our only mechanism to take out loans. And once again, if the community had enough cash in there, we wouldn't go the loan process.
And over what length of time is the loan repaid?
This one is 20 years. And we'll fine tune all the the years and actual rate of interest once we get the authority to submit the documentation.
And if Olmsted Township does better than they anticipated during the road down the road, do they have the option of paying it off early and saving on interest charges?
I will look into that, but in reality, we have the study there where we collect those tap-in fees, and generally speaking, we have to get fully developed. All the parcels would have to really fully develop in the township for us to collect all the money. So really, we're using some of our maintenance fees that we collect while we're waiting for everyone to actually tap in all those vacant parcels. So theoretically, once everyone does connect to a sewer, we'll have all the money to do it, but that takes time. Some people, the county's going to offer a 10-year loan to a lot of these people through our mortgage program. So in the meantime, we're going to be fronting it with our maintenance money and then replenishing it as people start paying our tap-in mortgages, or they pay the full amount.
Good.
Is Olmsted Township one of the entities that subscribe to the sanitary engineer program, or?
Yeah, we're actually responsible for their sewers. That's the last of the township. I mean, that's our only really, everyone else we have agreements with, but, we are their sanitary engineer. We are their.
So is each parcel subject to a fee for a sanitary engineer?
What it is that every parcel does, we have a maintenance fee, so I believe it's $3.19 in that vicinity. That's for our maintenance. But in it,
That's per what?
per front foot, per lineal
foot,
front foot,
okay.
right. And that's for the cleaning, the televising, and the routine house calls that we do. And it also leaves a little bit of money left over for small capital projects. But the brunt of these things, when we put in the new sewer, is the connection, which is probably gonna cost the average homeowner, in the vicinity of, $14,000 to $16,000.
Exactly.
Which is why we came out with the mortgage program that we have through the county. And it gives them another avenue. Development also has some programs for low income, we do let them know about that as well. But the majority of the people that, participate in our mortgage program.
Okay, I'm familiar with that. Does everybody understand how that works? We had a lot of that in Parma with some of the developments on the road projects. So this can go to 3 readings.
Yeah, we have time on it. Sure.
So I move that this go to full council under second reading. Is there a second? Any final questions? Okay, all those in favor of sending to 0214 to full council under second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 214 goes to full council under second reading. That brings us to 215.
Resolution number 2016-0215, accepting a loan in the amount of $250,000 from Ohio Public Works Commission to finance road and sewer repairs in connection with the Turney Road Improvement Project.
Mike Chambers, once again. This one's a little bit different. It's for the Turney Road project. Once again, it's a $250,000 loan from Issue 1. It's a 0% loan, and it's for 10 years. The last one we had, obviously, we weren't able to get an Issue 1 loan, which is, would have been a great opportunity. The overall, and it will be repaid by the sanitary sewer district funds as well. The overall project is $7.3 million, very similar to the last project. And it has a combination of road and bridge. It does have grant money from Issue 1. We were very successful in getting $665,000 in grant money. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough to give us, so they did offer us this $250,000 0% loan, which we obviously accepted on behalf of the district. Once again, it will be repaid by sanitary sewer funds, and we're asking for approval of this.
And I see this, we're a little bit behind on this, because this was supposed to start September 30th, 2016. Any other questions from council members?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
My question is whether there's a need for suspension on this item.
If we can expedite this one, since we, that would be great. I know we still have to get the documentation down to Issue 1. It's a process. I mean, we do have the, like I mentioned before, we do have the grant money secured. I neglected to mention there is some, federal money we have secured for this project as well. So if we can move this up, that would be great.
I don't see how we can do better than 0 interest in 10
no.
years.
No, that's a
We're not
good
gonna
one.
hold out for better terms.
I'll make a motion for second reading suspension.
Okay, I'll second that. Any final questions on 215? All those in favor of second reading suspension, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. 215 goes to the full council under second reading suspension.
Thank you.
That brings us back to 204.
Resolution number 2016-0204, approving the Metro Health System's policies and procedures to participate in one or more joint purchasing associations for the year 2017 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 339.05.
Okay, this is something that we hear every year. It's routine in nature. It allows them to join a joint purchasing association for saving in and supplies and equipment. So it's pretty routine, and every year we need to pass a resolution because of state Ohio Revised Code Section 33905. Any questions from members of council? It's pretty routine. I'll move for second reading suspension so we can move this along because was adopted October 26th. Is there a second to second reading suspension? Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final questions? All those in favor of sending this to the full council under second reading suspension, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 204 goes to full council under second reading suspension. Any public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed down.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being in attendance, and we've made some progress. This meeting stands adjourned.